Hey everybody, BRW Solo here, and I want to talk to you guys about TX and what I'm seeing on this ongoing bleed out here. So I try to make some calculations on the whole thing and try to see if we can take the fragmented portion of TX and maybe see if we can still see if we're in the Sologenic Wyckoff accumulation, which I've been talking about since October of last year if you guys have been following me on X. So let's look at just TX right here, right? So we have this March 6th drop, and each column is the PSE date, right? Each drop, we're not keeping up with the dilution, so there isn't enough demand. We have just a very small volume of about $100,000 per day. It's significantly low, right? So things need to change, and that will change, I think, with the marketplace when that gets launched, and I think it's very soon. We have already hints that it will be very soon. So if we can align that with the price action, just take a look right now with what I see with TX right now. This is just TX's price action, right? So obviously there's this downtrend. We have oscillators that are gaining strength, but it doesn't matter right now. Price action is always more important. But take a look at this little trend line here. So we have a point here, and a point here, right? Okay, so long way to go, but exactly, I can't make anything out of this chart. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this fractal, we're gonna nest it over to Sologenic's fractal. So let me explain what I did here. So what I ended up doing was this over here. Now you can see over here, I have price action here. This is Sologenic's price action. I don't have it labeled, but just the one that's this blue and white, that is Sologenic's price action. Now this green overlay here is Coreum. Okay, and I just wanted to put that out there so you guys see that what Coreum is doing is matching that same fractal of what Sologenic did, right? Now I have this black box here, and you see how it blacks things out, because the reason why I did that was because that price action had continued to go on. You can see right there, just right there, it populates when I just hover over it. And that's what's happened when we sold off and we had merged our coins to TX. So that was the sell-off of Sologenic. So really we want to avoid that. It's not part of the calculation. So what ended up happening is we saw TX it had an order book. It was a pre-market limit order book, which hit it around, I think it was 13.5 cents. So we have to take certain things into account like that, right? So what happened was that if the two coins merging together, you're increasing your circulating supply. When you do that at the new price bidding, you're getting an extremely high market cap. So what ended up happening technically was when Sologenic was around 6 cents at TGE, it spiked up. And when it spiked up temporarily, right, that order book was very fragmented. And so what ended up happening was it crashed, right? And so this is exactly how you would look at it. Now, let me look at the day chart so I can kind of zoom in here. If you did this on Coreum, Coreum actually has the same parallel type of a price action. So it's the same thing. My goal here is to figure out exactly what would be Sologenic's and Coreum's standalone implied price. And I think I may have figured it out. And so I'm trying to see, hey, well, this is Wyckoff accumulation. I'm going to delete Coreum here, just so you guys have a better visual of what I'm seeing here. So as I talked about, this is Wyckoff accumulation that started here in November of 2024. Okay, so essentially what you have is, characteristics of Wyckoff, and then essentially we're looking to see if we have a spring face, right? So when I had nested this fractal over, and I'm thinking, well, okay, so you have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, wave 4, and now a wave 5, right? Now, does that mean the bottom is in? Maybe not. Maybe we have been able to figure this out finally. I don't know. I'm just trying to use calculations, because when I had figured out the implied price, actually, Coreum would have been right there at 0.16. But what's interesting is that Sologenic, if it was not merged today, would be at 0.376. Well, what's funny is that 1.618, which is supposed to be the absolute bottom for a structure like this, we are just right there. Now, what's funny is, do we make a little wick crash, one more crash here this week, and then we start moving up? And this could be the bottom right there, since we have just a little bit more to go. It's possible, but let's review the entire market and let's try to see if we can find confluence with everything structurally speaking to justify that 1.618. So if you look at Ethereum here, right? Ethereum has got this price action that I told you is very similar to Netflix. If you guys follow me on that, it was in my last video and the video before that. And so Netflix has this very interesting pattern that I think Ethereum is following to the T. I mean, it's identical in almost every single way, on almost every time frame. It's perfect, almost. So if you look, what just happened with Bitcoin and Ethereum just this past week, we just actually had a nice save, and I'm thinking we may have this ascending triangle. Now, I don't know for sure, but if we are and things are still looking good because it's holding this fib level, the fractal that I have over here that I copied from Netflix looks like it wants to do this thing where it just shoots up, pops up, boom, 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 right? Two critical levels I talked about in last video, which is 2,500 and 4,700. These are going to be very big, important price levels for TX as a catalyst. So how do I also know that things are just right around the corner? Well, if you just look right there, this is the altcoins, and I've talked about this before, but it's altcoins excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stables to the Bitcoin market cap ratio. We just hit structure, we double bottomed, and now the thing is, how close are we right here? We're really close. Now, does it mean we could come down here? Sure, I don't know, but look how close we are to breaking out. And this is no joke. This started in January of 2022. What about Bitcoin dominance relative to altcoins, right? Well, actually, I should say the other way, because it's actually small cap dominance to Bitcoin. But if you look and measure this is a whole structure that's been measured from 2018. And look at the structure we built here. I really like this right there. No oscillators, just look at the price action. What do you think's happening? We're right there as well. Now, there's another key thing. I want to just add this last point, this 518 days. Well, we started the bear market in January of 2025. Why is that so important? Well, I gotta actually go turn to XRP for a second, because XRP did something that I thought was really interesting. And I'm gonna talk about this in a following video here. If you look at XRP for a second, right? This is the bear market of 2014 for Bitcoin. It had moved down and XRP was consolidating for such a long time. But as Bitcoin bottomed and started to make its way up, starting in 2015, 16 into 17, what ended up with most altcoins, Dogecoin, Litecoin, specifically XRP was the worst lagger out of all of them. The price action ended up just being boring and sinking for how long? 518 days just before, because the run was really implied here. The bear market was implied here, I should say, that this is where, investors didn't realize they were going to be in a time capitulation for this entire time. So now if you look, this 518 days is matching up to where the bear market started for this last one for altcoins. So is that true? 518 days. And I didn't do a measurement on Sologenic to see if that's true, but I'm just looking at the whole macro environment to see if this is something's playing around here. So we're gonna have our eyes on this chart here for Ethereum for the rest of the week, and Bitcoin and TX and everything, and we'll see if we have one more little drop for TX, and then hopefully we got something. Let's hope, because maybe this is the Wyckoff spring, like I just mentioned. So Wyckoff spring would be right there. This is still the dragging out phase until what? We start to see, like I said, maybe this price action where we're going to see two moves for TX, where we're going to probably see a big move up, then maybe some midterm steadiness, and then we see another one into March, like to fulfill that 5.4 theory thesis that I have on what I think the cycle is for the extended cycle. Anyways, that's a lot of information, and I was kind of excited to present it, so I'll see you guys in the next one.